Welcome to the Social Views, happening right here in the Collaboration Studio. If you've been following me on social media, you would know that what this studio is all about and what we're hoping to achieve. So today, I'm super excited to have our first guest, Stephen Greaves, a professional photographer who's here to share his insight into photography. So as a business owner, now is the time to listen up to take your photography game to the next level. This is also our first episode together. So Steve, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And I hope that through all these productions and you'll see obviously how things start changing and additions to the studio, know that everything is collaboration based. And at all times, we're going to be sharing what we're doing, how we're doing it. So because it's the first one, I need to make mention of Woodbender, who very, very generously sponsored us with these couches. So we're sitting on couches today, sponsored by Woodbender. We've got our feet on a carpet that is sponsored by the Persian Rug Lady. Both of these companies are situated in Strand, Somerset West. And just want to say a massive, massive thank you for believing in this vision. And let's get this started. Stephen, welcome. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great, man. It's great. Great to be here, man. Thanks for the invite.
I really, really appreciate it. To give some background of this the show, as I said to you earlier, is we're trying to impart as much knowledge and insight and how-tos so that people can essentially help themselves. That is the whole purpose here. So I'd like to spend a bit of time maybe just chatting about some of your personal experiences going from, so we've chatted kind of how you've gotten to this point through experience and you've been involved with a lot of things, but there's something very exciting coming up. And I really want to dive a little bit into that. What was the thinking behind it? How did you get to the idea? And that is the 52 lighthouses that you're embarking on soon, potentially starting 2024.
Look, the sooner I get started with that, the better. The sort of date I was hoping for was June.
This year,
but I'm starting to think I'm being a little bit overambitious.
Give us some background of what is this project? Because I know it's a passion project and we spoke about it.
Absolutely.
And I really want you to share your heart on what is this project and why. What is the purpose? What is the meaning? I know there's a couple of signs and there's some inspiration. Please share.
I've always been interested in lighthouses, and I started photographing lighthouses about a year ago. And one of my nicknames, I've got a few.
Why lighthouses?
It's difficult to describe or explain. It's something you're drawn to. It's almost like you're compelled.
Okay.
For instance, I'm also drawn to windmills. Okay. Now I can't tell you why I'm drawn to windmills. It's one of those things as a photographer, an artist. I look at an old rusty old windmill. It always looks so cool, right? And I'm just drawn to it, the rust, the texture, the feel. It's an emotive response. I'm just compelled to photograph it. Okay. And I think sometimes in life you almost pulled or drawn somewhere almost divinely inspired in a sense, if I can put it that way. Awesome. And so, a beautiful woman that I once knew, she actually called me Stevie Lighthouse, and so the nickname stuck. And then I started doing podcasts.
What's your Instagram handle? Stevie Lighthouse?
I've got an Instagram handle. It's Stevie Lighthouse, where I put and some podcasts, and I like to post encouraging messages on there, especially to encourage the youth of today or the young adults. Not just specifically, but my heart is really a lot with the younger,
And that was kind adults. Of the inspiration behind the Lighthouse Project. Yeah?
Well. Yes. So the initial idea was, I wouldn't say selfish, but the initial idea was, hey man, I really want to photograph more lighthouses. I photographed a few so far. And then I started thinking, well, I wonder how many lighthouses there are in South Africa. So I didn't know, maybe there's 800, maybe there's 600, I didn't know. So
I'm actually not going to say how many there are, because I actually want, if you think you know how many lighthouses are in South Africa, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to find out how many other people, or how many lighthouses other people out there think there are along the South African coast. So we're talking from what is it? What's the most furthest east? Durban,
right
Durban.
up to Mozambique.
So from the Mozambique border?
All the way up to the Namibian border.
Incredible. Yes. So I know how many there are, so I know what the context is. So try not to say too much about what how the project will play out. But if you're listening carefully, you'll get the answer shortly.
Yeah. So that was, I thought, wow, I'd love to photograph every single lighthouse. It was like a light bulb moment, pardon the pun. It was like a light bulb moment. It was like, well, I want to photograph every single lighthouse. And then how long is it going to take me? Here's a little clue. A year. So
it's going to take a whole year.
It's going to take me a year.
Shooting 2 lighthouses a week?
One lighthouse a week. One lighthouse a week. So there's your clue for your viewers, all right?
That is incredible.
So the idea is that, and then I started, and a lot of this didn't come to me like, it just came to me. It wasn't like I sat down and said, okay, now this step, this step, this step. For me, I work a lot intuitively. I work very much my whole, emotional intelligence.
Sure.
That's how I tend to, approach things. And so then I started thinking, well, how can I attach this? Well, I didn't even really think like that. The thought just came into my mind. Well, look, at every lighthouse, I'm going to find either school or church hole there, and I'd like to share my story on how I've battled the demons of depression and addiction for most of my life.
And overcome?
Yeah. It's something that I think you take a day at a time.
Deal with.
So, yeah, it's a day at a time kind of thing. Sometimes they rise up again, and you got to, Yeah, there's ways to handle it, your triggers and all that kind of thing, you see. But I've been clean and sober now for quite a number of years now.
Incredible.
And but one never takes it for granted, put it that way,
Absolutely.
So then I thought, well, and I'm a photography lecturer as well, and I teach a lot of youth. And so
your photography studio's name or your school's
Studio
name?
7, Photo Design School.
That's same on Instagram as well.
And that's on Instagram, Studio 7 Photo Design School. And as I've been doing my Stevie Lighthouse podcasts, I tackled the issue of addiction. And one of the addictions we have in South Africa that's off the charts crazy is pornography.
Yes.
There was a Sunday Times article about a few months back and a report about children as young as 5 being addicted to pornography in South Africa. The addiction is getting worse and worse and worse and worse on pornography and drugs and alcohol.
5.
You see, yes, absolutely. What we can maybe do is I'll send you the actual cover, the article, and you can maybe pop it and cut it in or something.
Absolutely.
And so I started thinking, well, as I go up the coast and that, I'd like to try, and how can I give back to a community? And one of the ways I can do that is sharing my experience, my battles with the demons of pornography, addiction, drug addiction, and depression. Because they all sort of like twin sisters, the evil twin sisters, you can say, And so a large part of this project, the Lighthouse Project, I'm calling it Shed the Light.
Oh, no.
Shed the Light. And I can't take credit for Shed the Light. It's a friend of mine. Her name is Donahue. And we were chatting, and she was one of the first people that I sort of approached for like feedback on this project. And she said to me, hey, Steve, let's call it the Shed the Light Tour. So I said, that's fantastic.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. It's amazing with this project how afterwards it feels like everything's lined up. You know what I mean? Like
it's just too good to be true.
Yeah, there's a purpose behind it, which I didn't think of in the beginning when I started the project. In the beginning, it was just, I want to photograph these lighthouses. And to tell you the truth, I wanted to leave. I need some space. Sometimes
the good reason to break away.
The busyness and the rat race. And I thought to myself, I want to hit the open road. So that's how it kind of started. So that's the idea, to create awareness and raise funds for,
communities,
the community to help themselves. There are other different charities. So I'd like to start launch a Stevie Lighthouse Foundation.
Brilliant.
And that foundation will solicit funds. And from that foundation, we will try now and assist different rehabs across South Africa.
Brilliant.
Those that are deserving, rehabs. There are a lot there that are like, charlatans. So you have to really use your discernment to find the real ones. But I believe we will. You see. So that's the whole idea. Now after the tour, I want to publish a book. And it won't just be the photography and the lighthouses, but also in the people and places that I meet along the way.
That's cool.
As well as a documentary, a film documentary, as well as prints afterwards, life-size prints of every single lighthouse. And notice I didn't mention how many there are.
Nice.
So it's a big project, massive project, very close to my heart. It's a dream. And if I may, I'd like to just say I am looking for collaboration. Awesome. And I am looking for funding. So if any of your viewers are able to, they can contact me. I've started a website. It's stevie-lighthouse.com.
And how do, I'm assuming on that website as well, because you will keep it updated, your social channels will be updated. But where would the best place be for people to follow along on the journey? Because I know that you will most certainly be successful in the communities that you reach, purely because your heart's in the right place and you're doing the effort to actually go and get something for the lighthouses. But while you're there, through all of this, you're able to help those smaller communities, which I think is absolutely awesome. But one thing I know that you are going to be able to capitalize on is the awareness around not just the causes, be it the pornography, be it the addictions. And I think there's addictions that we don't even know about. That is the worst part of it all. Because you blew my mind with 5-year-olds like that. I'm struggling to process that, but it's ridiculous. But what I think you will end up doing as well is making some serious waves online. And I'd love for people to follow your journey. So the best would be obviously Instagram, because I'm sure you'll be having daily updates there.
Absolutely.
Does that page exist?
I'll probably do, yes. There's Stevie Lighthouse on Instagram and on YouTube.
Awesome.
And my thinking is to do weekly episodes.
All right, nice.
At the end of each week.
Give us a catch-up.
Because I'll be traveling in a camper van on my own with all my photography gear and so on. I'm going to love it. I'm going to absolutely love it, hitting the open road. I'll probably also go through Namibia, Botswana, and maybe Mozambique, and then come down the East Coast. So I'll go up the West Coast first. So the idea is to do one podcast per week.
Brilliant.
And then I'd like to ask you if you could also be involved and assist me with that kind of thing. Always. And maybe I've got a YouTube channel, Stevie Lighthouse YouTube channel, which I'll utilize. But I think, your channel and your experience will really help me. So if we could collaborate, that would be wonderful.
Well, exactly. My whole heart is about collaboration. I absolutely love the concept. I don't believe in doing things for free and getting things for free, but if it makes sense for both parties, and that's why the studio exists in the first place, is to empower collaboration. I think that where the world is moving to, where we as humans and humanity is moving towards, I think we've become a really, really selfish bunch of people.
Sure.
And I really feel that there's so much on the table for collaboration and partnerships and working together. Here is a brilliant example. He has couches standing here. He has a carpet standing here. I didn't have to physically pay for it. But through this collaboration, there are miles for the person that gave these couches or sponsored these couches. Just as there is for the person for the carpet, just as there is for the people that sponsor the coffee. And I feel like collaboration and partnership is the new barter. I think the barter system is something that we're missing out on hard. Because they gave you judgment is this fair? Is this not? Now everything just has a price. Now it's just, it costs that what it's a number, and you've got to deal with that number. But I kind of feel like collaboration and that way of bartering opens up so much more potential, but you're also a lot more authentic because you want to do it. You don't have to do it. Yeah. And that's the part that I love the most. So however we can collaborate moving forward, by all means, we're definitely on board. Very, very cool project. Fantastic. Looking forward to that. So hopefully by June, July.
Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan. I still need to do quite a bit of fundraising. I'm still sort of looking into, a bit of a support team or structure. So there's a lot to do. I mean, even I just discovered my passport has expired. I need to get my passport, renewed.
And the admins and
but it's all exciting.
It is.
Challenging because it's a really big, project. Hopefully by June, July. If not, I'm just gonna work and I could leave like tomorrow if I could, but I have to line everything up.
That's brilliant.
So it'll depend on that when I've got everything lined up.
That's very cool. And thank you for your time.
It's an absolute pleasure, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you.